Okay, welcome back to part 2. I'm still with my son here.
Hi.
We talked about this TS21 in the first part. Now in the second part we're going to talk about the HD15.
Yep.
I prefer it over the HD20 because it's smaller, which is makes sense for a headlight, otherwise it's too heavy. And I kinda like the unique front plate design. This is not my first right angle, but my first one with dual LEDs. It's like these two do a fusion. This is a mule, by the way, so it's more flat, and this one is more throw.
Yep.
It's a bit tall due to the dual LEDs plus the charging port, so they can only put the battery here, unlike this one. Spot is using Luminus SST20, and flood is using the Samsung LH351D, both in 5000K, but the SST 5000K looks really green in a lower output. Yeah, it's okay in the higher output mode though, compared to the SST20 4000K in the TS21, which is really nice. And the difference between the mule and the diffuse lens, which looks much nicer. Just like the TS21, I'm not too crazy about the ripped worm style body tube, even more so in smaller body. But also, just like the TS21, I mostly carry in short tube anyways, so it's fine for me, which is included and in matching color, which this TS21 should also be, in my opinion. Similar price like the big bro, the TS21, which MSRP around 50, but usually discounted at less than 30. Also have Powerbank Function, which makes a good reason to carry flashlight during the day. I much prefer the TS21 colorways, and I think they're aiming for fun colors here. So anodizing seems good, and this purple is quite fancy. I decided to go with purple since it matches nicely with the green ox to make a Mr. J theme. But unlike the big bro TS21, it's not using Anduril. Neither does the HD20. Still a good UI though. I have no problem with that. Everything except this blinding blinking on click when locked out. I really don't get it. It's fine when you click and hold. It's showing the moonlight mode, which is nice. Why does the click have to behave differently? If it aims for non-advanced user, which explain the non-Anduril, but if they want to warn user that it's in lockout mode, they could have used the aux in the button, which I think is a better way. Because of this, I don't use the software lockout and use a physical one instead. I also miss the 2-step moonlight on lockout that came standard with Anduril. I managed to figure out all the options by the next day just by trying out and playing with it. Even the hidden mode that is not user guide. To change LED, you can also do triple clicks instead of click and hold. But for click and hold, it will keep rotating until you release the button. Just wish there's an option to keep the aux switch on. The usual low high and blinking low high, or maybe some other breathing or blinking options. There are other lights without Anduril that can do that as well, like this with the cool dragon breath effect.
Yep, it's my favorite feature.
Yeah, I also like this. Plus Anduril 2 will be awesome in this for the dual channel or tint ramping, since this has two LEDs with thrower and flutter combo. But this instant switching is good enough already. Also, not really a comment on the dual clip, except that it doesn't fit well in the short tube, which is a pity, since the clip is more useful for right angle in my opinion, because when you clip in the front pocket it will point forward. And I'm not really a headband person and probably will never use the included headband.
Can I use it?
Yeah, I'll probably just give it to you for playing. The magnetic tail also I prefer not to have, but again probably more useful for right angle lights, so you can stick it like this and point to your work area. Same thing with the lanyard hole in the tail caps. I think either make it perfectly aligned or not at all, or use some other method instead. Maybe like this, just put in a clip or something. I never use it anyways. I much rather use paracords instead. And just like the TS21, this part is smooth, but for some reason this side is a bit rough.
Yep.
Same thing here, this part is smooth, but this is a bit rough. No big deal though. Okay, some other lights worth mentioning that I'm also kinda interested in. Just gonna go through a few quickly here and probably do a deeper separate videos next time. First one is the FC12. Even though the FC11 seems to be the more popular one, like the Sovereign SC31 Pro, but unlike the Sovereign, the FC11 does not use Endurail. It does have ramping mode. I kinda prefer the FC12 with additional tail switch, which is more interesting in my opinion. Plus with that shape, tactical tail switch is probably better. And styling is also a lot better in my opinion, with the additional cutouts instead of the ribs design that I'm not a fan of. Really love the non-black colorways, including the purple, which probably makes a better Mr. J team white. And stainless steel bezel will make it look even better in my opinion. Another interesting one is a WK01, which can use 10180. Looks to be an i3T killer. It has better LED tint and CRI. Plus it has 3 outputs instead of 2, with moonlight, which is really useful for me, and with cheaper price tag. Like I said, I probably check out these lights next time, so stay tuned and sub. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Now.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Okay, and now we're gonna take a look at this HD15 straight to turbo. This is the flood. 1, 2, 3. This is the thrower, turbo, and this is both 2, 3, turbo, back to flat, back to thrower. It's still better than this mule right angle that I have, turbo. This is only 500 lumens and it's just everywhere, very close range. It won't throw at all. And of course the throw doesn't match this dedicated thrower light. Yep, definitely no match. Okay.